Now says he's one of the best in the building. Elizabeth and employees sample review of
And this is WNYC in New York. Good morning, I'm Richard Lake. 7:19 states incoming later this morning. Analysis of trade numbers. Both managing director of the Zero Figures discusses the main threats to images and around the world. It's coming next morning starting at 10 o'clock. And here on WNYC.
WNYC's reporters include Frank McFerrin, some over 75 years of providing arbiter.
So hopefully you saw that ad and could hear it. In addition, they ran this tile ad, and then etc. Now we'll talk about the ad in a minute, but let's look at the results. A DFP report is a standard way of pulling results from ads that run on the internet. It stands for Double Click for Publishers, DFP. Double Click, by the way, is one of the first movers in the advertising space on the internet. They were at one point a conglomeration of websites. They'd signed up a lot of magazine websites to form kind of a network. And they ended up, they developed some technology for tracking ads. And so it runs on an SAS platform, which SAS stands for Statistical Analysis System. It's the software platform that manages analytics and data management, etc. On the internet. And here is a little piece of a DFP report. Now, every page on a website has a tracker. It's tagged. So every time a computer downloads it, the tracker keeps track of what computer has downloaded the page and reports back through SAS to DoubleClick. And every ad on the internet also has a tracker or a tag, and that tag contains code, and it tracks clicks, and that is how the web is able to have these results and be measurable. Now, so here's the report. You can see the date is October 1st last year, and you can see the name of the advertiser. You see Hulu Choice Hotels, sort of in the middle there. There's a name for the ad. ILP is Internet Landing Page. And then here's the start date for when the program officially started. The end dates were unlimited. We were just running them until. Rate would have been impressions. How much were they paying per impression? But none of these people had agreed to pay per impression. I'm not sure what the -1, -2, honestly, I'm not really sure what that is, goal quantity. But here are impressions on that day for these different ads, and you see most of them, they're pretty close, except for the Dine Rewards maybe was put up late, I'm not sure. It was 28,000 something impressions. Here are clicks. How many times was it clicked? And then there's a CPM and ad exchange revenue, and those are zero because they weren't paying on a CPM basis. But what you see here is out of almost 29,000 people who downloaded the landing page, only 34 people clicked on the Hulu video. Actually, yeah, only 34 people clicked. So, not very good. This I am going to recognize is going to be awfully gall-darn hard to read, and I apologize. So, get your good glasses on. This shows trial signups, and this is data that we got from Hulu. Look, the trial signups were miserable. I think we earned, you know, at $7 per sign up, we earned $1,000 or less after running this Hulu video and banner ad for several months on the Wi-Fi landing page. The results were terrible. Now, let me just go back a second to talk about why that is. And if it were in class, I would ask your ideas on why you think it was terrible. And I hope you will think about it right now. What do you think of the creative? And what do you think of the quality of the impression of the ad, given what I have told you about the page it's running on, the lack of a counter on it, etc.? All right, so here are the issues. First, there's a major issue with creative. The offer of a free trial is super only at the end of the ad. It's a small super. It doesn't really pop in any way. It doesn't really contrast with the background very much. And so the offer is negligible, I think it could be argued, number one. Number two, they show some of their popular programs, but, you know, if you don't know Hulu, you don't know what those programs are necessarily. You might know them from their other networks, but Handmaid's Tale you certainly don't, because it's a Hulu original. So I would argue that when we do a Tabasco, the support for having a great time watching Hulu is very weak. It doesn't talk about award-winning shows. It doesn't talk about sports. It just doesn't work hard on Hulu's point of difference. And Hulu needs to capture Netflix users and people and Amazon users and people who've got other streaming services. It's got to tell them, well, we have something different and you really should look at us as well. So it's a weak creative. It's a weak Tabasco, frankly. And it doesn't have a good offer. Now, number two, the Wi-Fi landing page is a crappy property because no one chooses to go to a Wi-Fi landing page. It's an annoyance. It's something you want to get off of as fast as possible. There's normally absolutely nothing of value on a Wi-Fi landing page in a hotel. It's just a pain. So for us to insert a 15-second video with no counter on it, no countdown, no click off, it could be argued that the people who did click it were just clicking it to get rid of it, not because they were necessarily interested in Hulu. So, parenthetically, a key going forward initiative for Hive and Choice was to make the landing page of something of more value. So let's find great restaurants and offer good deals. Let's find the local dry cleaner. Let's have Uber on there, and let's have all these things have some offers to them. So a combination of factors leading to some bad results, but there you go. And let's get back to the IAB now, mobile video impressions. And these are the requirements for the Interactive Advertising Bureau to make an impression. A mobile video ad that meets the criteria of 50% of the ad's pixels on an in-focus browser or fully downloaded open initialized application on the viewable space of the device can be counted as a viewable video ad impression if it meets the following time criterion. For mobile, it's 2 continuous seconds of the video is played and it's viewable on the screen. It counts as an impression. That counts as an opportunity to see for mobile video ads. So, and by the way, about half the people checking into Choice Hotels are getting on the Wi-Fi on their mobile. So that's a little look at video, and also at measurement for interactive advertising. And I want you to kind of take as a key thought out of that measurement is not absolute. When you think about the fact that anyone who downloads a page, even if your ad you need to scroll down counts as an impression, what do you think of that? Is that worth paying for? Okay, so now we're going to talk a bit about social networks. And these are the big players, as everybody knows. I pulled this from something a couple of years ago. Social Media Explained. Twitter, I'm eating a donut. Facebook, I like donuts. Foursquare, I don't even know if it exists anymore. This is where I eat donuts. Instagram, here's a vintage photo of my donut. YouTube, here I am eating a donut. LinkedIn, my skills include donut eating. Pinterest, here's a donut recipe. Last FM, not sure if that exists anymore. Now listening to donuts. Google Plus, I'm a Google employee who eats donuts. Anyway, I thought it was funny a couple of years ago, and I'm still carrying around the slide. What to say about Facebook? I think Facebook could be a class unto itself, probably for a semester. Just to offer you some sort of extra perspective that you might not know about. A very good friend of mine, I've known for years. I got him his first job in ad sales. He had been in marketing. Had been running 2 of the, I think, about 10 major categories of advertisers for Facebook. He ran entertainment and technology, 2 huge categories. He was in charge of all the clients' relationships and all the advertising revenue from those categories. And when I talked to him about Facebook, I was actually trying to sell him on a product or service I was working on. The service is a database of clients and agencies, names and emails, and LinkedIn profiles, and then articles about the companies, etc. Basically, a sales support tool, for media sales. And what he told me was, well, I'm not really sure that Facebook needs that. Reason being, they have 6 million, this is as of about 2 years ago, customers use the self-serve advertising platform. No Facebook employee touches these customers. So they go on, just as with Google AdWords self-serve platform, they go on this site, and they're guided through a process of, building the appropriate advertising program on Facebook. So one of the first questions you're asked, or an advertiser is asked on the self-serve platform, is, what's your objective? Are you here for branding, or are you trying to get sales results? Are you targeting by demographics or lifestyle? And then, of course, Facebook has thousands of choices for targets. What's your budget? And no Facebook employee has anything to do with them. And this is one reason why that's a Russian bear, by the way, for those of you who were wondering. Russia used to be referred to as the bear. This, of course, is, running out of battery. I'll have to plug in here, sorry. This is why someone like the, Russian folks in the last election could get on to Facebook and buy ads. And the way, by the way, I was told that Facebook tracked down what the Russians were buying was that currency was rubles. And then there were 800 accounts that are more actively managed.